Hello friends, today we're going to be making this delicious pasta verde. This is one of my family's favorite meals, so if you want to see how I make this delicious pasta, just keep watching. We are first going to start by gathering all of our ingredients. So we're going to need some spaghetti or any of your favorite pasta. I'm using spaghetti today. We're going to need about a cup of sour cream, half a cup of heavy cream, a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of ground cumin, a tablespoon and a half of Knorr, 4 chile poblanos, 3 cloves of garlic, a piece of onion, a stick of butter, unsalted, 1 cream cheese, a cup of spinach, a cup of shredded cheese. I'm using quesadilla cheese. I'm gonna cook 4 chicken breasts, but you can use shrimp or any kind of protein that you would like. You can cook whatever you like for your side, and I'm seasoning it with oregano, black pepper, and salt. And these are the ingredients you will need to make this recipe. I'm going to start off by getting a griddle pan. I'm going to put it on medium-high heat. We're going to start charring our poblano peppers. If you have a gas stove, you can do it directly on your gas stove, but this is what I'm going to be using. While that is warming up, I'm going to start by washing my poblano peppers. I'm going to be using my Young Living veggie wash. I'm just going to spray a few squirts of that into a bowl and then start running some water. Sometimes these poblano peppers or any kind of vegetable has like dirt and stuff on it. So you just got to make sure that you're going to wash them really well. You can just soak them like that, or you can, wash them however you wash your veggies. This is how I wash my veggies. And I'm going to be getting a brush and scrub like the part of the chili where the stem is, because dirt usually accumulates in there and it's kind of hard to get out. So I'm just going to make sure that I wash these off really good and I can start getting them charred. Just like that, they're nice and clean. Now that my griddle is nice and hot and my poblanos are clean, I'm going to place them onto the griddle so they can start charring. While we have the chile poblanos going, we're going to start filling our pot, medium to large pot, up with water so we can start cooking our pasta. I'm going to be cooking my pasta according to the box, so just follow the instructions on the box of your pasta. So I'm putting my pot of water on my stove on medium to high heat, and we're going to wait for the water to boil. Meanwhile, we're going to check on our poblanos, and you can see that they are starting to char. So we're just going to give them a quick flip. You can use your hands or you can use some tongs to get those flipped over, because sometimes they can be hot. But yeah, you're just going to keep on checking on them. This is what you want to see, but you want to see them like completely black almost. So just keep checking on them and keep turning them. Like I said, you can use tongs. You don't have to use your hands, so you don't have to burn your hands or ruin your manicure. So just use whatever you need to get those flipped over. As you can see, our pot of water has started to bubble. So it's almost at its boiling point. So what we're going to want to do is grab some salt and salt our water. I'm just going to do a pinch of salt, so we can then add our pasta. But before, I'm gonna get my chiles a quick flip just to make sure that they are charring evenly. So we're gonna try to get them flipped on the sides as well, so we can get that done and get that charred very well. They're hard to stand on its sides, so sometimes you just have to hold them there for a little bit so they can get evenly browned. This is exactly what you want to see. At this point, your house is going to be smelling so good. I just can't even explain the smell, but it's just so good. And you just want to make sure to keep them on its side and keep them going. And right now our water is boiling, so we're just gonna grab our pasta. Like I said, I'm using the spaghetti, and get that in there and start cooking the spaghetti according to the instructions on the box. So it's going to take me about 15 minutes to get my chiles completely charred. If you have a gas stove, it's going to take way less. Or even if you go outside and do it on your grill, it will take way less. But you're just going to keep on flipping them for about 15 minutes. Keep moving your pasta around so it doesn't stick together. Yeah, so like I said, you want to keep watching your pasta and stirring it around just so it won't stick together, because you want them to be cooked all together and right. And my chiles are starting to look great. At this point, what I'm going to do is going to turn off my stove, and we're going to be placing our chiles in a plastic bag. In a plastic baggie, or you can put it in a Tupperware container, or you can put them in a brown paper bag. I'm just going to be putting them in a Ziploc bag, and this purpose for this is so that they can sweat and you can peel the skin off easier. So we're going to let them sweat for about 5 to 10 minutes in this bag, and when you put them in the bag, you can either cover it up with like a damp cloth, or you can just leave them like that, and they should start sweating, and it'll be so much easier for you to peel the skin off of the chiles. At this point, we're going to set our oven at 350. We're going to be baking this pasta. You're going to need a baking dish, and I'm just going to grease it with some butter. And my pasta, my spaghetti is done. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it off, and I'm just going to let it sit there for a little bit while we do the next steps. So I'm going to be peeling these poblano peppers. As you can see, I've let them sweat for about 10 minutes. I'm going to start peeling them by using the back of my spoon and just getting the skin off of it that we have charred. You can use your hands if you want. You can even run them under water and peel them that way. They're still a little warm. They're still a little hot. So just make sure that you don't burn your fingers. But this is what I'm choosing to do right now. I'm just going to use my spoon. And then I am also going to be using my fingers to start peeling them off. And then I'm also going to be rinsing them. But you can use whatever method you like. I just feel like it's easier to just peel them with a spoon, but sometimes they get a little too hard to do, and so I'm just going to be doing that with my fingers. You're also going to want to take the veins and the seeds out of the chiles, so you'll see me cut the stem off of it and start doing that as well. All you need is the outer part of the chile to make this sauce tasty. And just continue to do the same process to all of your chiles. Make sure they're nice and clean. For your sauce, this sauce is meant to be very tasty. These poblano peppers shouldn't be spicy at all. So just go ahead and take that vein out if you want to avoid it being so spicy. So in our baking dish, I'm going to be pouring in our spaghetti that I have already strained. We're going to add a couple of tablespoons of butter, just so it won't stick together while we are making the blend for our yummy poblano sauce. So in our blender, we're going to start putting all of our ingredients for our sauce. I'm going to be putting in my roasted poblano peppers. I used a total of 4. A cup of sour cream. An 1/8 ounce of cream cheese, 2 garlic cloves or 3, a piece of onion. So I thought that piece of onion was a little too big, so I just took a little bit off of it. So that's what I'm using. And a bunch of spinach, baby spinach. I'm using about a cup. The spinach doesn't really give it any spinach flavor. It just gives it more color than anything. So this is why I added. I'm doing my tablespoon and a half of Knorr chicken bouillon, half of a teaspoon of cumin, and a teaspoon of black pepper, and my half a cup of heavy cream. I'm also going to be adding a little bit of water, just keeping it nearby in case it's too thick. I will add more water, but it looks like that's it. I'm going to start blending it at about medium speed and just keep going up. Just make sure that it starts blending very well. If you see that it's too thick, then add a little bit of more water or even a little bit more heavy cream or milk. And I'm going to blend it for about 2 to 3 minutes. That's it. That should be enough time for your sauce to be creamy and delicious. So at this point, I've already tasted my sauce. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and taste it for salt. If it needs more salt, then go ahead and add some or add more Knorr chicken bouillon. But mine was perfect. So I'm just going to go ahead and start adding it little by little to our pasta and just getting it all incorporated in there, making sure that it's in between all of the noodles or all of your pasta, just so it can be evenly coated with the yummy poblano sauce. So I am using about a cup of quesadilla cheese, shredded quesadilla cheese, and I'm just going to be mixing it in with my pasta. You can add, like I said, whatever kind of cheese you have on hand, mozzarella. You can even add Parmesan cheese. So whatever cheese that you have on hand is what you're going to be using. I decided to add a little bit more cheese because I like it to be really bubbly and cheesy on top. So I grabbed a little bit more of my quesadilla cheese to make sure that it's fully coated with cheese on the top, because you'll see in a minute why I like it so cheesy. So that is the kind that I am using, but you can use whatever kind that you have on hand. And I'm going to be getting a few slices of my butter and just putting it on top of all of that cheese. And it's ready to go in the oven. So I'm going to start seasoning my chicken and preheating a skillet so I can start cooking my chicken in the skillet. This is the skillet that I'm using. I'm going to be putting a little bit of corn oil on my skillet. And we're going to be putting our pasta in the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. Just so the cheese is melted. Using these 4 chicken breasts, and I'm going to add some garlic powder to my mixture. And now that my skillet is hot, I'm going to start adding my pieces of chicken. I'm not really going to go into much detail on how I cook this chicken. Maybe that will be another recipe. But like I said, you can cook your protein however you want. You can cook it on your grill. You can bake it, whatever you want to do. But this is just how I decided to do my chicken today. Our chicken is done and our pasta is done, but you can go one more step. I like to broil my pasta for 2 to 3 minutes and get that cheese crispy and almost burnt. But if you don't like it like this, you can always stop at that last step. But this is the end. This is how our pasta turned out. It's so creamy and delicious. I'm telling you, this will be one of your family's new favorite meals, just like it is ours. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for more recipes.